So today is my first day of the Zero Waste Challenge and I've been shopping. I had to pick up some fruit and veg and a few different things. One of the things I'm excited about the most was, if you saw my clip yesterday, I really wanted to tackle the single-use plastic that is coming into my home with the dog food. That's the biggest everyday thing that I'm dealing with. And I went up to my local butcher and they were super keen to help me out. So I've left them with 3 big takeaway containers that are reusable, and they're going to be ready tomorrow. And I happen to have enough dog food to get me through to tomorrow, so I didn't even have to buy any more. And it does mean another trip into town, but I think that once I get a little rhythm together and get it organised, it won't actually be much effort extra to manage not bringing all of that plastic bags in. The other thing I did learn was that Coles now has a bag drop for soft plastics, which gets sent to Victoria through a program called RedCycle. And so I can recycle the plastic bags that the dog mince comes in there, but that is always going to be a second option. The first option is to refuse, and then obviously reuse, reduce, and recycle is the final option. And that is available to us now, which is pretty good. So do check your local Coles or Woolworths and see if they have a bag drop for soft plastics. If you want to know more about that in detail, look up redcycle.com.au. And in today's shop, we have produce that's come from a local grown. So everything's in a cardboard box, which I will reuse. If I don't get to reuse it, I can compost it in the garden, or I can actually use it as a fire starter come winter time. So I do have a little fire, so that's pretty cool. I've got my produce, it's all loose, except I had some beans, and they're in this fabulous bag. And what else have I got? I think some lychees I picked up, and they're in a little bag too. These bags I actually sewed from an old bed sheet, a cotton bed sheet that wasn't being used because I don't have a single bed anymore. So I had that lying around forever and decided I'd make something out of it. So instead of using, obviously, plastic bags, which I've never used plastic produce bags ever, my default would be to use the mushroom bags, the paper bags. But I was considering that as well because even though the paper is compostable or recyclable, it still is a resource, and it has come from trees, and the trees have been cut down to make that paper. So when you think about the life that's been sacrificed to make that paper bag that you're going to use one time, it's nice to come up with something that's a reusable option. So these are my lovely little cotton bags that I sewed with my Singer, and that was a really lovely thing to do on a quiet day. I do have a jar of homemade, local-made relish. I'm happy with buying jars because I do use jars all the time, and I reuse them again and again and again. And then I do make my own jams and things from produce that grows around here, like marmalades and things like that. So those little jars will come in handy. And then I've got in this one here, let's have a look in here. Can we even see? More stuff. So more little white bags. That was for mushrooms. So this is now my Coles shop. So that was my produce shop. This is my Coles shop. Now, I needed some cashews. So I've used my little white bag for the cashews because, okay, so ideally I would have gone to my health food store and taken my jars, and the jars are pre-weighed, and then filled them with my cashews and my, what else did I get? Walnuts. And then that would have been totally fine. But I didn't actually have time today to go and do a separate shop at the bulk food shop, which is a little bit of a drive. So I went with the second option, which was buying the nuts that I absolutely needed, which were cashews and walnuts from Coles. But instead of using their little plastic bags that they provide you with, I used my lovely little sewn ones, and I just stuck the sticker on there. So that sticker is going to be waste, and it's going to be in my bin at the end of this month, but it's still a big reduction from the plastic ones. when I shop at the bulk place, I won't have the little sticker to deal with as well. So then that will be completely waste free. I got some tahini, again another jar, and also with things like tahini, olive oil, tamari, they're all things that I do normally take a container and get refilled when I go to my bulk place, which I'm due to do probably in a couple of weeks' time. So this is just to get me by between now and then. The other item that's in here is light bulbs. Now, I couldn't get around the packaging, but it is cardboard, so I'm going to try and compost that so it doesn't actually even go into the bin. And then over here in this last bag is actually my dry cleaning. So I didn't want to bring the big dry cleaning bag home, so I got my dress, which fortunately isn't a crinkly dress, so it doesn't matter that it's folded. And I was able to give the lady back her bag, and also I gave her back a coat hanger because I don't use the wire coat hangers, and I thought it was no need to bring it home if I'm not going to use it, and it costs her money, and it's a resource. So that's today's little effort, and there's lots of lovely things I've lined up that will be happening in the next coming days. I've ordered some things that are going to help my waste reduction as well. So as those things arrive, I'm going to take you through those as well. But that's me for today, and I hope that that's given you some ideas on things that you can do as well. Catch you later.